All right, starting with the top story, the war between Israel and Iran continues to intensify, now entering its second week with the mounting casualties and targeted nuclear strikes. Overnight, Israeli fighter jets killed three senior Iranian commanders. Among them, Saeed Azadi, the head of the Quds Force Palestine Corps and a top coordinator with Hamas. Israel says Izadi was struck near Qom alongside commanders Behnam Shahriari and Aminpur Jodaki. Here's what Effie Defrin, Israel's army spokesman, had to say.
במהלך הלילה, מטוסי קרב של חיל האוויר חיסלו בהכוונה מדויקת של אגף המודיעין את סעיד איזדי, ראש גיס פלסטין בכוח קודס. חיסלנו אותו בעת שהתחבא בדירת מסתור בעיר קום בלב איראן. במסגרת תפקידו הוא היה אמון על התאום הצבאי בין המשטר האיראני לבין חמאס בלבנון ובעזה.
Well, at the same time, Israeli jets launched a second wave of airstrikes on Iran's Isfahan nuclear facility. The target, two centrifuge production sites. Israel claims the strikes dealt a severe blow to Iran's nuclear program, and officials say it has pushed back Iran's nuclear bomb capabilities by 2 to 3 years. Iran's response has been swift. Police in Qom say that 22 people linked to Israeli spy networks have been arrested since June 13th. A European national is also in custody for alleged espionage, though their identity remains unknown. Iran human rights say that at least 223 people have been detained nationwide over suspected Israeli links, and the real number, they warn, could be much higher. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi is in Istanbul for emergency talks with 40 Muslim nations. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation is meeting to discuss Israel's deepening offensive. Back in Israel, Armed Forces Chief Eyal Zamir is warning citizens to prepare for a prolonged campaign. He says this is the most complex military operation in Israel's history. And as Iranian missiles continue targeting Israeli cities, the region braces for what could be a long, grinding war. Ross Feingold, a political analyst, with us on the broadcast at this point in time. He's joining us all the way from Taipei. Ross, great to have you here once again. Well, the war is escalating at this point in time. There doesn't seem to be any holding back. No punches are being pulled. But at the same time, there is also a conversation taking place that Iran may slow down or it may enter that non-proliferation zone. But the question I want to ask you, Ross, they've been having these conversations in the past as well, and still uranium enrichment continued. How can we trust Iran again?
It's very difficult to trust Iran. They've clearly improved their ability to enrich uranium up to the necessary level for weapons. Even if they actually haven't done that yet, we know that they could do it within a short period of time. They've hidden many of their nuclear facilities from the IAEA, which was confirmed in the recent IAEA report. So they really can't be trusted, and that's one of the reasons why Israel decided to take the action that it did. They were facing an existential threat from a regime that rejects transparency, that insists on enriching uranium beyond levels necessary for a civilian nuclear power program. And again, Israel made the decision that it couldn't wait any longer.
Ross, what do you make of American involvement in this conflict so far? Donald Trump is obviously dabbling with a lot of scenarios at this point in time. By the way, he's also gunning for a Nobel Prize, Peace Prize. That's why he invited the Pakistani dictator Asim Munir to support him. With all these distractions and this convoluted approach within the Muslim Ummah, do you think that this war is going to be over soon?
Well, as Israeli officials have been saying, it doesn't look like it'll be over soon. It could end quickly if Iran would accept the very generous offer that was put on the table by United States negotiators, which was that uranium would be enriched outside of Iran and provided to Iran for civilian nuclear power purposes. For reasons known only to the Iranian leadership, they rejected that deal. And keep in mind that that deal wouldn't have just made it unlikely that Israel would attack, but it also would have offered Iran enormous relief from the sanctions that have been imposed on it. It really would have allowed Iran to rejoin at a significant level the community of nations. It would have allowed Iran to do business with a lot of countries. Foreign investment would have flowed in. So again, the decision making, however peculiar it is, it's in the hands and the minds of the Iranian leadership. As far as President Trump's decision making goes, obviously, whether or not to join Israel and to bomb Fordo, using the so-called bunker buster bomb, this is known only to President Trump. It's a decision up to him to make, although he may or may not try to get congressional authorization as well. We know President Trump is reluctant to use military power overseas. That was one lesson we learned from his first term. But if he just has to dispatch a couple of aircraft with bombs, he might be willing to do that in this situation, even at the risk of the Nobel Peace Prize that he's wanted so badly.
Ross Feingold, always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. Moving on, US President Donald Trump